Good morning everybody, and welcome back to another market analysis for the month of April. Now today I have something a little bit different to talk about. Normally on these market analysis we are talking about doom and gloom, market crashes, just the economy in shambles, but today we're going to switch it up a little bit. Today we're going to be talking about actually one of the biggest price explosions of 2021, that being the rare market. Now the rare market for old school RuneScape consists of stuff mainly like third age, and other super rare clue scroll items. For most of 2021 and specifically the last month, these items have increased in value by a significant amount. Some of them going up more than double, some of them going up nearly triple in value just in a month. And as always, I'll be looking at anything else interesting in the OSRS economy this month. Anyway guys, let's get started. Now, like I was mentioning in the beginning of the video, one aspect of the OSRS market that hasn't actually gone down at all recently is the rare item market, where recently a lot of in-market PVM items, resource items, and pretty much almost anything you can think of has been crashing. In contrast, the rare market has been increasing very substantially. Just to give you kind of an idea of what I'm talking about here, we're going to look at a couple third age items and just some other rare items. Okay, first up here we have the third age cloak, which back at the beginning of March was only worth 183 mil, but sometime around the end of March it started to shoot up, and today it's worth 398 mil for a third age cloak. That is absolutely insane. Now, one thing you have to kind of keep in mind when you get into these very low volume rare items is that it is a lot easier to manipulate the price. Now, I'm not saying that that is definitely happening to the third age cloak, for example, but it is a possibility. So the third age cloak over doubled in value in just about 2 weeks, and keep in mind it is completely a cosmetic item. There's no realistic reason that anyone would actually want to use this in combat, for example. Okay, another item that has gone completely crazy this month is the third age longsword. Look at this, going from around 400 mil in March, now up to 849 mil just a couple of weeks later, doubling in price, which is crazy. That's such a big price increase compared to anything else on the market. Okay, another crazy example here is the third age axe, going from around 280 mil back in February, March, now worth 472 mil. So yeah, pretty much doubling in price again. And really this has hit us across most of the third age items. I mean, we have the third age wand here going from 150 mil up to 319 mil, pretty much doubling in price. If you look at some of the most expensive third age items in the entire game, some of them are hitting or probably above max cash stack now. I mean, the third age bow went from 1.3 bill up to 1.5 bill just in the last couple of months. We have the third age druidic bottoms, which over the last couple of months went from around 1.7 bill now hitting max cash 2.147. It could be going above that for all we know, which is kind of crazy for a completely cosmetic item. The third age druidic cloak has gone from 720 mil up to over a bill just in the last couple of months. The third age druidic top has gone from 1.8 bill all the way up to 2 bill now, probably going to hit max cash in the next couple of months. So what exactly is happening here? What is causing items like the third age longsword to double in price in just a couple of weeks? And why are super rare items going up in price at all when everything else is crashing? Well, in my opinion, I think there are two main reasons. Now, the first one here is just kind of a general trend I have noticed throughout the years from the third age market in relation to just the normal PVM market. Now, at this point, it has been really a long time since we have received any major PVM update or any major content update, which means that a lot of players have started to get to higher levels, buy out better gear, and just earn a lot more money in OSRS with nothing really new to spend their money on. Now, because of that, the demand for somewhat less useful but expensive items has started to go up. For example, the third age longsword is definitely not a priority. If Raids 3 came out tomorrow, people would probably sell their third age longsword to try to buy the new raid items. But since there has not been any major new PVM content or just major new content in general, people have just started to funnel their money into these other kind of more alternative markets like the rare item market, which has driven up demand. And because the supply for these items are just incredibly low, they have shot up very quickly. Like hardly any other item around this price point would nearly double in price just from a small increase in demand like that. And that's partly why rare items are extremely volatile. Now, another factor that I think could be contributing to the price explosion in rare items is the introduction of the new RuneLite data. Now, because we have much more accurate data, the rare item market is a lot more transparent than it used to be. I think it has given a lot more people confidence to invest in some of these items because they can be fairly sure on what the actual margin and the prices are, where before there was not nearly enough data to make even a wild guess. I think that really could have incentivized more people to invest in these rare items and just purchase them for fun, to try to flip, or for any other reason. I think there is just a lot more demand right now because of the transparency of the new information. And to be fair, it's not just third age items that are going up. Other rare items that aren't third age have also increased a lot just in the last couple of months. For example, the Dragon Kite Shield, while not completely cosmetic, is for the most part not used for any realistic combat. The Dragon Kite Shield has gone up from 44 mil to 57 mil just in a couple of months, which is kind of crazy for an item that almost nobody uses. We have the Dragon Full Helm, which is a fairly similar item, going from around 50 mil back at the beginning of March all the way up to 67 mil just as of a couple of days ago. And we have other rare clue scroll items like the Gilded Scimitar, going from 15 mil up to 17 mil. Now, that's not to say that every single rare item is going up in price, but just the general trend I've been seeing, most of them are exploding in value right now. Now, for how long? Kind of hard to say. If we get new information on some upcoming major content, like a big PVM update, I do expect the price to reverse fairly quickly, but I mean, who knows? Now, the most recent content update that we received was the Temporos fishing boss. And while there aren't a lot of items that go into it, it still has had a major effect on a few different items in the market. Now, the main item that everyone was looking at was the Dragon Harpoon, but interestingly enough, the Dragon Harpoon didn't really change much in value after the release of Temporos, and that is mainly because everyone expected the Dragon Harpoon to go up in price. The price for the Dragon Harpoon back at the beginning of March was pretty accurately reflecting what most people thought it was going to be worth after Temporos was released. So of course, when Temporos came out, it didn't really actually go up in price at all. Actually, it decreased in price. However, that's not to say that some items weren't greatly affected. There are two items that were greatly affected that kind of just came out of nowhere. The biggest one, I think, is the Smoldering Stone. Going into it, nobody really knew that the Infernal Harpoon would be useful or even meta. However, as soon as Temporos came out, people soon realized that the Infernal Harpoon was very good at Temporos, and people started buying them out. So the Smoldering Stone went from around 2.7 mil, I think it peaked at over 10 mil on the day of release, and still is currently worth around 3 times more than before the Temporos release, around 7 mil right now, which is pretty damn crazy. Now, the other item that was greatly affected is the Elven Signet. Now, the Elven Signet has had a couple things happen to it recently. Until just a couple months ago, the Elven Signet was only worth around half a mil. But with the release of the new Shooting Stars update, and now more so the Temporos update, the Elven Signet has gotten a huge boost in value. The reason the Elven Signet is worth a lot more right now is because the Crystal Harpoon is very good at Temporos, and the Elven Signet will actually extend the effectiveness of your Crystal Harpoon. So a lot of people are trying to buy the Elven Signet. However, the only way to actually get this item is from a Crystal Impling, which means the supply for this is extremely low. So pretty much that item has jumped up in price from around 500k in value at the end of February, peaking at I think around 7 or 8 mil, and still being worth around 10 times more than it was before, which is insane. Okay, another really interesting trend I've noticed this month is to the Nightmare items. There has actually been kind of a reversal in the price of a lot of them. For the last 3 or 4 months, the Nightmare items have been decreasing very rapidly. For example, here we have the Inquisitor's Mace going from 800 mil down to a low of 450 mil, but just this month it started to go back up again, gaining around 200 mil in value just in the last month. Now, a very similar thing has happened for the Harmonized Orb. It bottomed out at around 660 mil, but now is approaching 1 bill again, which is kind of crazy. And a very similar trend with the Inquisitor's Armor Set, going from around 400 mil at its lowest, back up to 520 mil, and that's reflected in most of the Nightmare items. I'm not really sure exactly why this is happening, but I do imagine that when the Harmonized Orb bottomed out at like 660 mil, a lot of people realized that maybe they can afford the item now, and a lot more people bought into the Nightmare items because they become more affordable. That could have bumped up the price enough to maybe start a bit of a reversal in price. I don't think the fundamental reasons as to why these items were crashing have really changed, but I think we could see a short-term bounce back. For how long, I don't really know. Anyway guys, that is going to be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to leave the video a like, and if you have anything you want to discuss, feel free to leave a comment down below. I do read them all. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you next time. Now before I go here, I'm going to give a massive thank you to all of my members over on YouTube. A massive thank you to Cappy, Sage's Reign, Colin Corley, Timothy Chen, Guy Fox 1227, Valhalla Lad, Brad Sings, Ocelot, and Kush Patel for all subscribing at the Dragon tier of YouTube membership. The list is very long and I appreciate all of you guys so much. Also a big thank you to Bratton Griffin, Base Titch, All Things Gaming, and Birdbot for subscribing at the Rune tier. Thanks again, guys. As always, if any of you guys are looking for another way to support the channel, becoming a YouTube member is an awesome way to do so. You can become immortalized in all of my future videos, get access to my video release schedule, and of course get a custom role in my Discord server. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you next time.